Police are sworn to protect and serve, but what happens when someone you think is an officer turns out to be a fake? It can make a routine traffic stop all the more heart-stopping.
Tanika, I dug into records and found numerous local cases of people pretending to be police in ways now you can protect yourself. You're just driving down the road like this, minding your business.
Yeah, pretty much. And this guy just pulled up behind me, like flashed his lights.
This is a screenshot of video taken by Derek Bell. It's after someone in this black Chevy Impala tried to pull him over near 295 in Collins Road.
I'm looking, I'm like, that's not a police car. So he comes around me, and I look in there, I'm like, hey, roll your window down, roll your window down.
Bell took off after the car got the license plate number and then flagged down an officer with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
He was trying to pull you over. Trying to pull me over. I can tell you, he's going to be in trouble.
Eventually, JSO caught up with the driver, this man, 32-year-old Willie Ramp. Ramp was slapped with multiple charges, including impersonating a law enforcement officer. He was eventually sentenced to 18 months probation and 2 days in jail. In an Action News Jax investigation, I uncovered more than a dozen cases involving people impersonating JSO officers in the past 3 years. In one case, this man, Anthony Mack, was arrested. It's after attempting to assist a JSO officer during a traffic stop. He said he was armed and had laminated ID cards which stated he was a law enforcement officer. He pleaded guilty, paid a fine, and received time served. In another case, Donna King was arrested. It's after declaring, "I am the police," during a failed stop where she also had a firearm under the driver's seat loaded with a bullet chambered. She also pleaded guilty, paid a fine, and received time served.
Law enforcement's on edge, and civilians are on edge.
Dale Carson is Action News Jax law and safety expert. He says police impersonators erode the public's trust more now than ever.
It amounts to a kidnapping, right? You've been restricted. You can't leave. That if it's played out properly, you could be put in the back of another car and taken to other locations. A parade of horribles could occur.
Our investigation shows while these suspects use their own gear, we discovered the city of Jacksonville sells old JSO gear online, raising the question if it jeopardizes your safety. Take a look at this listing on govdeals.com. Since 2020, I learned the city has sold 369 decommissioned JSO cars, SUVs, trucks, vans, and motorcycles for nearly $800,000.
We have our air horn, we have our main.
Javier Alvarez is with Public Safety Supply. The company builds out vehicles for numerous law enforcement agencies, including Florida Highway Patrol.
You want to just put a light bar on the top with a couple of lights in the front and a couple of lights in the back.
A lot of people could do that.
Anybody can do that.
Alvarez says do-it-yourself lights are legal as long as they aren't blue or red. But if someone buys a stripped-down JSO Cruiser, it can still look marked, mainly because of the factory police wheels.
The actual department's making some money, but it's making it affordable for somebody to actually have a car.
But could it be dangerous?
It can. If it gets to the wrong hands and they want to rebuild it, yes, it is dangerous.
Since 2020, the city has also sold more than $10,000 worth of JSO uniforms and gear, including helmets and even gas masks. All the decals and logos are removed from the cars and clothing, but a simple search on eBay reveals you could buy JSO patches for as little as $9.99. I emailed JSO, which the city says is responsible for removing insignias. They sent me a statement that reads in part, "While being able to purchase law enforcement insignia online has potential to be problematic, it is not illegal." The city told me almost every major city in the country participates or has participated in reselling old uniforms. Reselling stripped uniforms and vehicles helps fund law enforcement while decreasing the burden on the taxpayer. The city added there are no background checks on who buys the vehicles or uniforms. I went to Willie Ramp's home, the man I told you about earlier, who was accused of trying to pull over Derek Bell. There was no answer, but the same black Chevy Impala was parked in the driveway. As for Bell,
you driving a nice car, man. There's no telling what these people had in mind.
He picked the wrong dude to mess with.
Pretty much.
Bell's memories of that day can't get unwrung.
To impersonate an officer, I mean, you plan to do something intentionally bad.
So what do you do if you think you're being pulled over by a police impersonator? First, consider, did you do something to get pulled over, like speeding or running a red light? Well, if something doesn't feel right, call 911 and lock your windows and doors. Pull over in a well-lit area if possible and tell the person approaching your car you've called a dispatcher to verify their identity. Finally, most traffic stops are conducted by police in uniform. It's rare an officer will stop you in plain clothing. Also, officers are required to carry ID and a business card and, of course, a badge.